All right, we're
All right.
recording. Um, welcome back, somber audience. I'm
Oh.
Tal. Oh wait, hold on. My mic is not even like close to me. Hold on. Hello. Hello. I'm a little bit closer to you now. Welcome back, somber audience. I'm Tal, the teary bunny reading you a story, accompanied by the crying hammy named Knightley. Last time on Just Like a Date Sim by Pearl, we got our confession from Katashi, and sadly, that means our route with Katashi is over. But we have also learned that after we get the confession of a boy, um, only they will get their memory erased, and everyone else will remember what has happened. Now we're jumping into chapter 14, Getting Over You, and we're starting Mamoru's route. Natalie, do you have anything to say? Putting you on the
Get
spot
it
every
over
time.
with. Just get it over with. Oh, Katashi.
Oh, by the way, I'm drinking tonight, so you know what?
I'm thinking about drinking.
I'll take the first shot right now on camera, and by shot I mean I'm just
Oh
gonna
my
sip in this
God.
little sippy cup.
Oh my God. Drink, drink.
Ah, tastes terrible. Okay.
It's alcohol for you.
Mm-hmm. You wanted to curl in on yourself as Kana twisted her fingers around her hair and asked,
So, hanging out with that no good bastard today?
"Don't call him that," you whispered. You could just feel the look of Kana shooting back at whoa was shooting at the back of your head.
Are you okay? Lana asked.
She finished your hair and patted the top of your head to show she was all done. No, you replied, but didn't say anything else.
Okay. Well, I know it can't be something about Katashi since I saw you two kissing just yesterday, Kana said.
Wait, she saw? Oh my gosh, I was right. We were in front of the door. You winced at her words, squeezing your eyes shut and wishing desperately for this problem to just go away. Kana gasped.
No, no way. What happened?
Like you even care, you sighed.
Of course I care. If that little prick did anything to hurt you,
He
I'll...
didn't do anything. We we just decided not to pursue a relationship until that guy who caused both of our injuries was taken care of, you explained. It couldn't have been further from the truth, but you had to have some sort of story. It didn't bring you any joy lying to your friend, but what choice did you have? Kana let out a gentle breath, and she tugged you in for a hug. She said,
I guess he wasn't so bad after all.
"Of course he wasn't," you snapped. "He was a good guy. Damn it, Kana, why can't you just..."
Nana-tan, hey, hurry up and get down here to eat. It's your name.
It's
Makoto's
Hei-chan.
muffled voice. Hey, Chan. Makoto's muffled voice carried up the stairs, interrupting your almost argument.
That was probably for the best. Kana gave you a concerned look, but didn't say anything else as she grabbed your hand and pulled you down the stairs with her. You felt utterly miserable sitting at the table, and you were only able to poke and prod at your breakfast, uh, only taking the occasional tiny bite. Now Kana was looking really worried, but you didn't feel like answering any of your questions. This whole thing with Benzai 10 was nothing but a mess, sure, and you felt as though a metric ton of stress had been dumped on your shoulders, knowing that you'd have to deal with everyone who knew about you and Katashi, as well as being infinitely more secretive from now on. But it was more than that. Last night, with Hana, you'd been excited even, but now that everything had time to settle in, and you were already surrounded by a dark cloud of gloom, it really hit you. You weren't sure if you had feelings for Katashi, at least not in the same way that he did only the day before, but more than anything else, you established a real bond with him. The two of you had been, well, friends. There had been a connection there, and you had, and now and now it had been severed and you could never get it back. You already knew Hana was right, but Benzai 10 was truly cruel.
Hey, Makoto chirped, looking unperturbed by your inability to eat. I heard Katashi-kun got released from the hospital yesterday. Any idea when he'll be back soon? I'm sure you're ready to start making him cuter lunches now that you're together.
Oh, your
Rub it
stomach
in, why don't you?
your stomach lurched uncomfortably at her words, and you out in front of uh pushed your plate out in front of, standing up as you did so. "I'm going to school." Your voice got lodged in your throat, so it barely came out as a whisper. Kana and Makoto shared a concerned glance, but you were already halfway out the door, bag in hand and shoes under your feet by the time they thought to say anything. You really just needed some time to clear your head. Right now.
Hey, it'll be okay, Hana soothed as she floated by your side. It hurts right now, but you'll have to get used to it. You're doing it for them, remember? You're protecting Katashi right now.
You weren't sure what you wanted to do. You wanted to scream. You wanted to break down and cry. You wanted to twirl in happy circles because you'd been successful. More than anything, though, you just wanted to sleep and dream of something nice, something Benzai 10 couldn't invade. Maybe not even dream at all. That would be a nice break. You breathe through your nose. I know. There's some part of me that's happy right now, but whatever that part is, it's squished under all the stress and sadness.
Let's get through the day, all right? Hana said and patted your head.
It was pleasantly it was a pleasantly cold chill all the way down to your toes. You felt more refreshed than before, that was sure. I can get through today, you nodded. But then there's tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and hell, probably about 10 months left of this.
Just breathe. Breathe, Hana replied. Just breathe.
So you did. You continued your walk to school, just taking deep breaths with every step. It didn't do much to get your emotions back in order, but at least you can maintain a better facade now. You made it to the school without any interruptions, and you immediately went to your classroom. You just sat there and stared at the front of the room, trying not to think too hard about anything. Other students began filtering in, and your friends included. QDA had no sense to bother you, and you were sure Suzuha would be teasing you for answers were she not always so late. Eventually, Kana sauntered in, looking concerned and relieved when she noticed you. You could already see her mouth opening, ready to shoot a million questions loud enough for everyone in the room to hear, but thankfully intercepted by Kyrie, who dragged Kana over by her seat. By the time Suzuha arrived, it was too late to question you, and you couldn't have been more grateful. Class went on, and periodically throughout, you would catch glances of Katashi's empty seat. You wondered where he was now. Maybe wondering how he got some dire wounds, hopefully not asking around and getting your name out of it. Maybe he was just resting at home. Maybe he was getting into a fight right now. The uncertainty pained you, but there was nothing you could do. Eventually, lunch rolled around, and you could feel both Kana and Suzuha's eyes lock onto you. You couldn't help it. You left. You couldn't face their questions right now. You needed more time alone, so you went to the roof. It was fine to go up there during lunch, so you didn't doubt there would be at least someone up there. But no one you knew, and that's what you were counting on. You didn't technically run, since that would have made you stand out, but you walked like you were on a mission to get up those stairs and to the door of the room. Without any hesitation, you swung it open and no one was there. It actually surprised you a little, considering it was open and free for the taking, but you did suppose it was a little chilly on that particular day, and people may have been interested in avoiding the cold. Whatever. More time for yourself. You leaned up against a nearby wall and made yourself cozy, shutting your eyes and hoping maybe you could drift off to sleep, but knowing in your heart it was impossible. The door opened. At first you assumed it to be Kana looking for you, or maybe even Suzuha if she actually got word. But no, it was Mamoru?
Mm.
Now, that wasn't a hilarious surprise. From a technical standpoint, you still didn't have to start making him fall in love with you for a few more days if you wanted to stay on track. So instead of making use of the opportunity that presented itself before you, you closed your eyes and tried to pretend he wasn't there. Um, you didn't want to deal with it. Oh, oops. I didn't know anyone else was up here, when Moru chuckled.
Oh, okay. Um, your eyes may have been closed, but you could almost see him in your mind's eye rubbing the back of his neck.
Sorry, if I could leave. I could leave if you'd like.
You sighed and came out far more exhausted than you anticipated. It's fine, Matsumoto-senpai. I'm just here to think, so just do what you'd normally do. There was a moment of silence and then a shuffling noise. You felt Mamoto's presence nearby, but with enough distance that it wasn't awkward. You opened your eyes and peered to the side to see Mamoto was sitting turned towards you, a lazy smile on his face, but a bit of a concern as well.
Are you alright? You're not looking too well, he said.
It's fine. It's just you wondered if it would be okay to vent to him. Probably not. It's nothing. Don't worry about me and just try to enjoy your lunch.
But how could I not be worried when such a cute girl is looking so down, he cooed.
Oof. You felt something inside of you shatter and you wanted to scream, but you managed to hold
Aw.
it in. Look, I appreciate it and all, but I just got out of a relationship and I'm really not in the mood right now, he replied. Komodo's eyes widened a bit and his face was overcome by a look of curiosity and maybe a bit of concern.
You can talk to me about it if you like, Mamoru said. You can trust your senpai to listen.
It would really hurt if you vented a bit. Maybe you could work this to your advantage. Thinking like that sent a pang through your chest and you sighed. Yeah, sure, why not? Momono nodded, silently urging you to continue, so you did. He forgot, you said.
What do you mean? Mamoru asked.
Just forgot, you replied.
Mamoru frowned. You look so miserable. Are you sure you want to end your relationship over him? Forgetting something like a date or an anniversary?
You could feel tears formed, and you had to quench them before you could start crying. It's not like that. He forgot, well, he forgot the reason he fell for me, and that was it. Mamoto's eyes widened a bit.
Ah, I'm sorry. That can't really be fixed.
Yeah, you mused. He's better off this way, but it still hurts.
Don't say that, Mamoru frowned.
What? You asked?
Don't say he's better off without you, Mamoru exclaimed. You seem like a nice girl, so I don't think he's better off without you at all.
That's funny, coming from such a notorious playboy, you giggled. Oh, sorry, that was kind of rude of me, wasn't it? Mamoto just smiled.
I'm glad I got to see you laugh.
Yeah, it did feel pretty good after everything you admitted.
So, Mamoru's expression brightened. You seem to know my name, but I still don't know yours. That's not very fair, is it?
You snorted. Not my fault you're well known.
Oh, come on. I bet you have a cute name to match that cute face, Mamoru insisted.
You couldn't help but laugh again. How charming. You gave your name. But you can just call me by my first name. It feels weird when people don't.
Well, it's nice to meet you. Since you already know my name, you can just call me Mamoru Senpai, Mamoru exclaimed.
Okay, nice to officially meet you too, Mamoto-senpai, he replied.
Ah, there's nothing quite like a cute girl calling you senpai, Mamoru sighed pleasantly.
Uh, I'm glad that pleases you, but you've got to stop flirting with me, you responded.
Afraid you'd fall for me, he chuckled.
Just got dumped, remember? You answered.
Damn, this guy.
He's so fucking smooth.
That's
Look
never
at him
stopped
go.
anyone before, Mamoru winked.
I can't have my heart broken again so quickly. You'll just have to make do with someone else, he snorted.
Oh, Mamoru sighed over dramatically, but smiled. Ah, wasn't expecting anything anyway. Just enjoy being single for a while, hmm?
Again, you replied with, that's funny coming from such a notorious playboy.
Hey, Mamoru feigned offense. I've tried being single. It's boring.
Why don't you try finding someone you actually like? You responded. Oh, sorry, that was rude again. Just ignore I said that.
No, no. It's a valid question. Most of the time, it's been from girls who I've made cry, though. Mamoru sighed. The answer is, I don't know.
You weren't sure how to respond to that, so you just shrugged it off. I won't push for answers.
Well, you seem like a sweet girl. Maybe you could.
The door to the roof swung open. Kana.
Oh.
She'd find you, and so fast. You could tell by her expression that she was a mix between worried and royally pissed. There you are, Kana exclaimed. She stomped over to you, grabbing your hands and pulling you to your feet, completely ignoring Momoto. We were all worried. Sorry, Kana, I don't want to hear your excuses, Kana snapped. You closed your mouth. Even Momoto looked surprised. The brunette stood up and held up his hands placatingly, with an expression that suggested he'd done this dozens of times before. He didn't look awkward or uncomfortable at all.
Now hold on here.
Shut up! Kana interrupted. She looked furious as she stared straight through Momoto's soul. Momoto didn't look particularly shocked or hurt by the outburst. Again, like this had happened countless times before. You weren't sure whether or not that this was sad. You have no place in this. Hana, that's enough, you growled. He's our upperclassman. Show some respect. How about you show your friend some respect for a change? Hana exclaimed. You've been acting weird as hell for the last 2 months, and you refuse to talk to anyone. And now you're all sad, and you won't even talk to your friends, but you'll come up to the roof and cry on a total stranger's shoulder? Not just any stranger, but one notorious for taking advantage of girls. What the hell's wrong with you? Kana, you snapped. That's rude. Apologize to Momoto Senpai now. Oh, so now he's Momoto Senpai, kind of laughed humorlessly. Who even are you anymore? Mm-mm-mm. Okay, once again, you wanted to tell her everything, not out of trust or for her help, no, not anymore, but so you could rub her face in it, so she could finally understand why you were suffering and why you'd been acting different. How dare she claim to understand and then turn around and treat you like garbage? She was right, you had been unfair to her as well as Suzaha and Kirie, but she hadn't exactly been supportive either. And now she was being rude to someone, to their face, and for what? Out of misplaced childish jealousy? What else could it possibly be? This is not the time or place for this, Kana, you seethed. And you turned back to Momoto. I'm sorry about what she said. I promise she didn't mean it.
Ah, it's all right. I've had far worse things said about me before. Mamoru laughed lightly.
Don't talk about me like I'm not here, Kana growled. And this is the time and place, since it seems to be the only way to actually get you to talk to me. And like a rubber band, you snapped. You know what, Kana? If you think standing here and screaming at me and insulting your upperclassmen is the proper way to have a conversation, then I'm really sorry to inform you that it's not. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have somewhere else I need to be right now. I apologize again, Mamoto-senpai, for Kana's behavior. I hope you can forgive her. And with that, you left. That was no place to have a fight, and as much as you wanted to scream and cry and pull out Kana's hair, you knew you couldn't act like that in front of Mamoto. You couldn't make yourself look bad in front of him. Kana had already damaged your chances with him, and you had no doubts that throwing a fit would have been the final nail in the coffin, so to speak. But for as much as you were boiling with rage, you also knew that Kana had a right to be mad. She may not have been all nice and supportive about your relationship with Katashi, but she did have a point that you'd been hiding a lot, acting different and not talking to them anymore. But how could you? You'd only had a year to undo your mistake, now even less than that. And how could you explain that to her? How could you make her understand? You couldn't, and that hurt all the more. You still don't get it, do you? Hana snorted by your side. You wanted to answer, but there were too many students around. You remained silent. Hana just sighed and shook her head. You felt a hand on your shoulder, and you supposed it would have been nice. It would have been too much to ask for that Momoto had followed after you in worry. No, it was Kana, and she looked just as angry as before. But also with a fair bit of concern mixed in there. There were tears pricking the corners of her eyes, and suddenly you felt worse than ever. Kana
Hmm.
tugged you in private, secluded section by the stairs, and looked deep into your eyes. All right, I'll be Kana, and you can take over narration, MC.
Sounds good.
Please, just talk to me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have made a scene like that. I was wrong. I just wanted you to finally talk to me, Kana
Aw.
explained.
You knew she was being sincere, and you knew she had a point. How could you handle this situation? Anna, I can't really talk about this, okay? You replied. I know you all care about me, but this is something I have to deal with on my own.
You don't have to be alone, Kana sniffled. We can help. I can help. I want to help. I care about you. Just please let me help.
But there is nothing you could tell her. I'm sorry, Kana. And in one fluid motion, the tears were gone, and Kana dug through her bag. Why did she bring that with her? And pulled out a very familiar notebook. Your notebook, as a matter of fact. What was she doing with that? Oh shit, is this the one with all the
Ugh.
information? Oops.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
whoopsies.
yeah,
Hannah
yeah.
opened it up, revealing all the profiles Hannah had written for the guys. Let's
At
go.
first, I thought this was about potential boyfriends or crushes, and I got upset, but this is just weird. You started dating Katashi, so I thought that would be the end of it, but now you're not with Katashi anymore and hanging around Mamoto-senpai? Explain what's going on. Now, Anna said, her voice suggesting no funny business would be allowed. And don't you even think about lying to me. You may be acting all tough like you don't need help, but I know for a fact that you do, so you'd better be honest with me for once.
Ooh.
Tell, tell.
Yes, yes,
Last two
yes.
words.
Oh, well, shit. Whoopsies. Aw,
It's the most
jeez.
important part of the
So
fic.
true. um, well, shit. This is
Sums it up.
quite the page turner, isn't it? My gosh, the end
Damn,
of the
you've written through
chapter.
our stuff, Connell?
Damn, Kana. Um, this was not what she was giggling about a couple of chapters ago. I can't believe that would have been. Anyway, um, yes, okay. Not
Oh my
Nightly.
god.
Lovely messaged me, earlier today, telling me that she's been watching our videos. So hello,
Ugh,
Lovely.
embarrassing.
Started watching it. I don't know if
Sorry
she's gonna
about
get
the
this far though.
Okay, sorry about the lag if you do get this far. Sorry about the lag on all my videos.
Oh, please. It's barely noticeable.
I'm so glad I'm here for this one because there's so much dialogue.
Yes, absolutely. I love listening to you read. Um, she wanted to clarify that she was in college when she actually started writing this, but had the idea for the story in high school. Um,
Okay. Lovely fun fact.
and also another fun fact is she's probably gonna make Hana's route platonic.
Like, wait, what?
We're probably gonna make Hana's route platonic.
Oh, platonic? Platonic?
Yes, platonic. Platon? What's wrong?
Pla- you said platonic.
Platonic?
Oh my
That sounds
God.
right.
Oh, I always thought it was platonic.
Platonic. That's not too big of a
Tomato,
difference.
tomato. Okay, yeah, okay.
Um,
Well, that's fair because we are in high school and Hana's definitely you know.
Lovely says, and I quote, I love Hana and her titties, but perhaps those titties are best saved for someone in her age range. And I say, rubs my hand together, move aside,
Put Hana in,
MC.
you could put Hana in Summer Reds.
So true. But I think the pro tag of Summer Reds is also a high schooler.
Oh, what? 10 what are you doing?
Well, let me think. I don't know if there's like a time skip or anything, but I do remember that, or I don't know if it's in high school, but I do remember that our protagonist was like going into school, um, and like with her classmates, and I remember that scene because that was a scene that I drew fan art for. Anyway, that's the end of a chapter. I don't mean to drag on our idle
Yeah.
conversation. Um, Next time we'll be reading chapter 15, getting deeper into Mamoru's route. And don't forget, there are links in the description for this story and all of our social medias. Nightly,
Yep.
final words,
Yep.
Madame.
I'm trying to open a wine bottle right now. It's failing
We got it. I'll take
miserably.
a second shot
Bye.
on camera.
Bye.
Hold on, I'll take this shot before we end the video.
Okay. Shots.
Okay.
Woo!
Ugh, okay. All right, see ya.